it's weird to me that to watch a lot of people cheer, particularly the move from CK Hutchinson Holdings to BlackRock, because that, to me, that's a pretty powerful acquisition. I mean, you're talking about two of the biggest ports that bookend that waterway. And, we were flirting with having all of corporate America take part in, I guess, the Americanized version of the Chinese, behavioral score, which is what ESG and DEI all is. So, I mean, naturally, then you think, well, if that's still pretty much incorporated through a lot of corporate America and even really to an extent in BlackRock, how does that factor into? I mean, I think it's not beyond the realm of realism to say, is that going to factor into what we're dealing with in the Panama Canal and the fees that are being levied, and what happens if people wanted to really weaponize DEI and ESG, because it has happened, at that level. I don't know. I just feel I have a lot of questions and I feel very uncomfortable about them being there.
No, you're 100% right to have these concerns and these suspicions. Our first campaign, we've run about $5 million of ads educating the public about the damage that BlackRock has done to their way of life. And our first campaign was actually BlackRock Loves China. And it talks about all of the foreign entanglements that BlackRock has over there, all the quid pro quo that they seem to be engaging in as they push a destructive agenda on the U.S. economy, doing things that they would never do to the Chinese economy. China's building 100 coal plants a year in China. They're building gas pipelines. BlackRock's helping to finance some of this stuff at one point. And I guarantee when they walk into the boardrooms of the Chinese companies that they're invested in, they do not tell them that they do not have enough blacks or women or gay people on their boards. They only push that kind of nonsense, that kind of race baiting and race and sex based quotas here in the United States. So it does raise the question, has China really lost control of this port? If they've got their hooks in BlackRock, then maybe this is just a cover for them to still have a lot of control. And I will even go one step farther. There's an interview of Larry that I'm sure he wishes he could make disappear, where this was back in 2012, 2013, and he's talking about BlackRock, and he says, in America, BlackRock is an American firm. In Mexico, it's a Mexican firm. In Italy, it's an Italian firm. We serve our clients wherever they are. Now, I understand to some extent, I get that. When he's talking to an Italian investor, he needs to be coming out from their perspective. But it does raise the question, in China, is BlackRock a Chinese firm? Should we really be thinking about this canal having been reacquired by an American firm if they don't really see themselves that way?
Yeah.
And Larry's own words would suggest that he doesn't really see BlackRock as at core a purely American firm. So I think it raises some significant questions that you're right to raise.
And that kind of goes into that. I mean, that really validates this whole story. The Congressional Select Committee that was investigating BlackRock, because they were concerned that American savings were being unknowingly invested in a lot of these Chinese companies, these CCP companies that were blacklisted by our government for NatSec reasons and human rights abuses. And I don't even know if we have a full understanding of even whether or not that's still occurring. I mean, now it's probably, now with this, I think I think that was completely accurate to say, is China still running this? I mean, is it though? Is it really entirely different with BlackRock? And then it makes me think, well, how bad was it down there that we have to have BlackRock come in? And, that was Rubio's first trip was going down there. It just makes me a little nervous.